My bike was never meant to be a commuter bike, proof number 1, and proof number 2. Let me explain. You can convert any bike into a commuter bike with the right accessories and understand your needs and priorities. So you want to start commuting to bike for your errands, to your friends, to work, save some money, be more environmental, and get some exercise? Yeah, that's pretty much why I bike commute. As much as I love my car and the freedom that it affords me, when it comes to being in the city and getting around, my bike is often the most efficient way to get around, especially when you're considering traffic and parking on top of it. Whew, no thank you. It's faster than walking, but it's also still a nice way to explore. Plus it's fun and honestly freeing, just like sitting in a car in traffic. That's just absolutely mind-numbing. Let's hope I get a good swan or a decent swan. We'll see. I've been practicing them. Oh no, my milk is not. Wow, okay, my milk frothing wasn't that great. So it's very much more of an abstract swan. The intention is there. Can you see it? I grew up in the suburbs, so I've been biking to get places forever, basically. So I would bike to get to my friend's house or go to the convenience store and grab some snacks. And then when I moved to the city, I knew I had to get myself a bike. My first bike I got off of Facebook Marketplace. I suggest going there if you're looking for a good bike. You don't need to get anything that expensive. There are so many good bikes being sold all the time. People moving in and out of the city, people upgrading. Where I live, you can easily get a nice vintage old Peugeot for 200 bucks. My first bike was a Manelli bike, and I did not like the way it looked at all, but it got me places and also it fit my size. I was very adamant on getting a straight top tube because I really just like the look of it. I would say that I'm borderline, given my height, of being comfortable on a top tube. Eventually, I wanted to get a new bike. I wanted a Peugeot, actually. French heritage, it looks really cool. I see Peugeots all over the city. Getting a small Peugeot was really hard. I finally did find one, but I did not like the color. I wasn't like super tied to Peugeot either. Just an easy thing to look up, a benchmark of like, good enough bike. And the day after I got that Peugeot, it's kind of funny how things work out. I found my bike. It was love at first sight, like from I think 1985. I think it was like their mid-tier. The catalog information that I found wasn't an exact match to my bike. I kid you not, I have a photo album of just my bike. It was 400 bucks, so it was definitely more expensive than the other ones. But because I was the second owner, the first owner having bought it, I think rode it a couple times, realized it wasn't for them, and then it just kind of sat in a garage until I acquired it. I've been told by my viewers that the Shimano 600 that I have on it is actually really good. Mid-tier, reliable, quality one. I've never had issues when I change my gears. I have a 12-speeder, 2 chain rings on the crankset in the middle and 6-speed cassette on the back. If you're getting a commuter bike, I don't think that you need a 12-speeder. I actually don't typically use all 12 speeds, but I definitely do play with the gears. When I'm on flat terrain, I generally stick to 1 to 2 speeds, but when there's hills and winds, I will play around a lot more with the speeds. I upgraded my tires from a 23 to a 28 millimeter. It's still a little bit tough on bad roads. I would say 28 millimeters a minimum, even 32 millimeter wide. Get something with maybe 6 speed or any type of adjustable speed. You can change components, you can upgrade things. And yes, I do care about the aesthetics of my bike. That's just something that's important for me on top of the function. If you watch any of my reviews, I do bring up design most of the time in the review, even though it is very much subjective. And I also have a design background. I find that if I like something, I will reach for it more, I will use it more, I will enjoy it more. And what is life if not little pockets of joy? Time to go for a ride and show you what I've added or changed over the few years that I've had this bike, from being a, I guess, racing road bike to my daily commuter. And take what you will from this video because everyone's gonna have different needs, and share your gear and your bike stories in the comments. I love reading those. Also, I find it really fun that I have so many international viewers, so hi from Canada. Okay, I seriously like my upgraded filming setup. Very cool. I'm gonna post a how to film yourself like this video with all the gear that you need to make it happen on my channel. Oh, my nightmare happened. I pressed record. Well, I thought I pressed record, but I was pressing stop instead. So nothing I just recorded for the last like 10 minutes actually recorded. So let's do it again. When I got this bike, I knew that I wanted to do a leather brown color scheme because that is so many bugs. That is one of my favorites. That's like what I have in my interior of my home. It's all neutral colors and neutral tones, and then some woods and some leather. Whew. I think I'm gonna eat a bug while I film. Some extra protein. I got myself the 1000 V1 helmet that I really loved. At the time, there weren't that many aesthetic helmets. Did a full review on that, have a discount code. This is the V2, perfect for a commuter bike if it's not an e-bike because it's got the pop lock. You could easily lock your bike to it. And I also got their gloves. They were really beautiful gloves that match. When I got the bike, the bar tape that was on it was whatever. It worked, but it wasn't fantastic. I knew I had to change that. I wanted a brown color scheme, so I got this beautiful Brooks bar tape. Also functional, added some padding and comfort to my ride. A lot of you ask where all of this is. Everything that I'm going to talk about is linked in the description. I also usually have discount codes and reviews. Those are affiliate links, so buying through those links help to support the channel so I can continue making awesome free content like this on my channel, Gadgets, Gear, Coffee, where I do in-depth and real use reviews, tech, cycling, coffee, and the gear that connects them. And while you're at it, you could like, hype, and subscribe, so stick around, maybe you'll discover something really cool. Right now I'm actually biking by the water. There are bugs flinging into my face. Probably gonna eat a bug at some point. I've dodged a couple so far. Hopefully for my and your sake, that doesn't happen. Something that you probably will want to get for bike commuting is just use your regular sunglasses to prevent any of the bugs hitting your eyes when you're biking. At night, get a clear visor. You get something cheap. You can get like squash glasses. My e-bike, I use a different helmet. I use the Unit 1 or a helmet that has a visor accessory you can get. You can get a clear visor accessory. You can get a tinted visor accessory. I got the photochromatic, so I can use it day and night, and I don't even need to use sunglasses because when it's daytime, it gets really dark. I actually just bumped into a neighbor today and she didn't recognize me at first because it was full on black and she was just like, who is this RoboCop person talking to me? Back to my color scheme. After I changed the bar tape, the brake covers actually broke. Eventually found suitable replacement online. It's not a perfect fit, but honestly, it looks great. Like no one can tell. I also changed the straps of the toe clip that originally came. I believe they were like a white leather before. Ooh, there's some broken glass. I don't love that. And I eventually changed them to this nice little leather strap just to really add to the color scheme. It's funny when sometimes people are like, wow, you match your bike. I'm like, yes, I know. I intentionally had a whole color scheme ready, which is not really hard. You just stick to one color, and like brown leather or pleather is pretty easy to find. And it's pretty timeless in my opinion. I also have a U-lock holder that is leather, very simple. Now it's on my rear rack. Originally it was on my back of my seat because you can attach it two different ways. I've only ever had my U-lock pop out one time when I was biking, and I had skinny bike tires that are 28s. They used to be 23s, but I upgraded at 28 millimeter just to get a little bit better absorption when I'm biking, but that's the maximum I can go given the frame, and it did help. And I am considering getting a Redshift seat post. I think I'm going to splurge on that. Thought about upgrading my chair to maybe some nice Brooks leather, but I'm so scared I'm going to get that stolen. Mainly right now, whenever I get any type of shock, it's from the seat. One of my commenters suggested whenever I can anticipate it, I do lift off like this so that I don't get the shock, but sometimes I miss them, or sometimes it's dangerous to do it. Sometimes it doesn't look that bad, the crevice on the road. It turns out to be a little bit of a shock. I was using my bell just to let them know that I'm coming up next to them so there's no sudden movements, because sometimes people go right across you. Other things on my handlebar, I have a loop mount twist, a minimal basic bike holder. Some commenters that have suggested some really cool products like a minimal GPS thing. If I use my GPS more, that would be a great idea, but then I would need to charge one more device, and I really don't want to be charging more devices than I have to. Whereas now, whenever I do use my bike phone mount, it's really more spontaneous. Pop it in and off. I don't need a special case for it. I'm just using my regular phone case. Lights, those are important. Sometimes go on my handlebar is a remote for my light. The light that I have in the back, I have a left and right turn signal. I also have lasers that I can put on the floor. I don't have that on my handlebar all the time. I do sometimes. It's always in my pannier though, if I need to reach for it. If you're planning on getting a bike commuter, really important to get some good light front, get reflectors. Also check your laws in wherever you live in terms of what you need as a minimum. I haven't seen anybody actually get stopped for this, but you know, it is a possibility. The lights, you want something that's strong enough, like a 500 lumen, because you want to be able to see your roads pretty well, at least for a road bike like mine with skinnier tires. Being able to see everything on the road is super important. I don't want my tire to get stuck and then for me to just like face plant. On my e-bike, it's less of a thing because I have fat tires. Oof. This is not an off-road bike, but this is actually working decent. Surprising.
Hi, 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 sweetie. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh! I was matching that dog with my little Sherpa thing. Okay, we're gonna stop to do this segment because I feel like listening to me breathe and bike is not the most pleasant thing. Because of my viewers gently pushing me, I actually did get a kickstand. The reason I said that this bike is not necessarily a commuter bike is because it's really a road bike, and because there is no eyelet for a kickstand. My last biking video, it wasn't the right one. It was a single mount, and right away I got a 2-mount kickstand, and that worked. It's really bulky, but you know what? It's functional. I could do things like this now. When I didn't have a kickstand, so I had my bike leaning on something. Somebody had foul on my bike, scratched it pretty bad, so I'm very upset about that because I can't get these OEM stickers. That person was fine, by the way, but my bike is now scarred. Definitely has been through things. It's gotten nicks and scratches, and it upsets me a little bit at first because it was almost intact when I got it. But also, it is a functional item and these things are gonna happen. It's kind of like scars on your body. All of these have stories. I know exactly what scratch on my bike was from. Honestly, the first scratch is the worst. That's also why I put something called PPF on my bike, and I think I'm gonna do another video about that and replace the top tube and add some PPF on other sections. I may end up remove the OEM one, but add a new clean logo on it. It's gonna be different than the original. I'm struggling a little bit with it because just the OEM factor. I'll have some touch-up paint because I have a customized touch-up paint that I went to a whole car shop and everything to get. What do you think if I should do it or not? I don't know if it's gonna be the same gold color. In 2023, I finally got a rear rack. The reason I said that this bike is not necessarily a commuter bike is because it's really a road bike. I realized I couldn't attach a rear rack onto my bike because there were no supports. So I ended up finding these C-clamps, rubberized, add the supports that I need for a rear rack. If you want a good commuter bike, this is something I suggest that you get. If you're on a budget, you don't necessarily need a rear rack. Like, I think it's a huge quality of life improvement. I didn't have a rear rack for several years, easily 7 to 8 years. I was just using my backpack, but sometimes I would buy more stuff at the grocery store and it'd be pretty dodgy having a bag hanging off my handlebar. It's very uneven. Also, I would struggle to bike with a big box. You can't just throw a big box into a backpack. I really didn't want a rear rack for the longest time because, to be honest, the aesthetics of the bike would have been ruined, but I managed to find a nice rear rack and a nice pannier, and I leave this pannier permanently on my rear rack because there's a little lock that comes with it, and I don't ever leave my bike overnight anywhere. Some of you have asked me about my rear rack. It was from Linus, the same thing for the bag, but I believe these two are discontinued, so we'll link other ones that I found. I looked for a couple of minimalist rear racks and I actually found some now that I really like, and other bags that are very similar looking. I only have one pannier, and I didn't want something that looked very techy, waterproofy, because I actually avoid biking in the rain. I wanted something that looked good, urban look. I bike to go to my friends, I bike to go to restaurants. I like to integrate the fashion into my bike. These are not the most loose pants. When I have wider leg pants, I still use my bike ankle elastic that you put around the pant leg, secures it down so it doesn't get stuck in your gears. It doesn't ruin your ride, it doesn't ruin your pants. It's a very easy solution, it's very cheap. On my rear rack, I have the rock straps. In the last video, I talked about how I don't typically leave it on because these long straps will get stuck. And I bought a cheap plastic rear rack strap for my e-bike. I'm telling you, the quality is so different. I had my tripod that I'm filming on right now attached to my rear rack. It didn't even rattle at all. The reason that the rock straps are so good, they're so simple but so good. They're even like used on motorcycles because you have this very heavy duty elastic on one side. This is super thick quality elastic and it is rigid. And you have a non-elastic strap on the other side. So whatever you end up securing, it could really pull and tighten it, strap it down, and then stretch the elastic a little bit, but it's very durable elastic that I can get a sturdy fit in here compared to my e-bike that uses a very cheap overly stretchy elastic. And my tripod is not very thick. I actually did a crisscross and was able to secure it down perfectly. Then the extra straps did a ribbon knot and then tucked it in so that it wouldn't get caught in my wheels and gears, because that's what's happened before. You can see the strap here has gotten caught in my gear probably a total of 3 times or 4 times. Not fun when it happens. Even with that, it's still holding up. Before you just go and invest in everything, is do it incrementally, especially if you have a budget constraint. See what you need as you go along and you add stuff on. Something to consider, this is a beautiful minimalist rack. I don't think I would have made a different decision knowing what I know today, but I don't have any mounts in the back of my bike. This just seems to be a common thread with my bike. That matters if you want to put a rear bike light. This Raveman light that I have, the NT101, full review on this as well, it comes with 2 different attachment points that you could put in the back of a rear rack if you have the attachment points, or you could put it on the back of your seat tube. For the most part is okay, except for when I'm transporting something on my rear rack at night, then it's being covered. So not the best. I tried to think of how I could fabricate something on here, but with this round tube, I just don't see it being possible. The 1000 helmet that I have, I could also actually get a rear tail light that sticks onto the helmet. So that might be something that I consider doing just to up the safety factor of visibility. Oh no, I just discovered another scratch. Something that you really should get, and is pretty inexpensive, would be mudguards for your bike, because nothing is worse than having a bunch of mud kick up on your white t-shirt. That has happened to me more than once, very unpleasant. Even when there's just a tiny bit of water on the ground, it'll just kick right up. Mainly on the rear tires. The front tire is less of a thing, the rear tire definitely. Just no question, get one. I was just taking photos of my bike and somebody walked by and they were looking at me and then they just said nice bike, so yeah. It is a nice bike, thank you. Let's talk about bike safety. Basically, keeping your bike safe means understanding what thieves are looking for. They're looking for something easy and easy target. So, you know, having your bike stored indoors, for example, is gonna be a great way to prevent bike theft. Well, thieves in general, they're looking for easy targets. They're looking for also really expensive bikes. A lot of people I know that had their bikes stolen, it's because they were left overnight outside, a lot of the times on their balcony. It's just too easy to be able to go and grab that and steal it, instead of having it, you know, maybe somewhere public where there's a lot of light and a lot of people moving around. Is that gonna deter every single bike thief? No, like if they really want your bike, if anybody wants to steal something, they'll do it. None of these bike locks are 100% impenetrable. They can all be broken. It's just about slowing it down and making it more difficult for them, because they're gonna go for an easy target. All of these U-locks, they have different grades on them. This is a kryptonite, this is like not the highest rated one. Even my e-bike has a massive chain on it. It takes like a couple minutes to break this with an angle grinder. There's also ways to lock your bike. Understanding what bike thieves are looking for allows you to like reverse engineer it, if you will, to understand how to keep your bike safe. On top of it, on my bike, I have these things called Hexlox. These ones have these unique magnetized keys that I put a little bit into the Allen key hole, and I can only take it out with a little unique magnetized key that I have on my key ring. And it has like a number, a serial number and everything. So if I need to reorder another key, I need to make sure to have that piece of paper. If I lose that piece of paper, I actually don't even know how I would be able to get this out, but I have 2 of those. And I think I know where the second one is. You have to be careful with these things. If you do get them, you don't want to lock yourself out of your bike. Underneath the water bottle holder, I have a Find My Bike, sleek, kind of hidden, although if you're a bike thief, I think by now you know that these exist, but it's on there. And I have a little emergency kit that I have here that I leave there. I haven't had to use it so far and hopefully I never will, but it is there and it has a bike pump. I also recently just added this little handlebar mirror. To be honest, it is very small. I'm not sure how functional it is. I've tried to use it so far, but I just don't bother. I just end up looking behind me because I have to get the angle just right to look into it. I feel like I'm gonna use this more when I'm biking with friends, keeping check of where they are behind me. I also have some reflectors that are really skinny that I put on my tires because by law, we need to have them. So I just found the most sleek ones I possibly could. But if you wanna see a lot of these bike accessories in more detail, you could check this review right here. And if you want to see the review of my helmet that I'm wearing, that I still absolutely love, and it matches my bike really well, you could check out that review right here. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.